evening.
My name is Willard Eugene Smith, and I'm an alcoholic. I've been since the 8th grade over at St. George Catholic School over in Louisville. My wife thought she could change me, I guess. I remember when our kids was born. 4 of them in 2 years. No, I ain't fell off the wagon already, folks. Laura B had 2 girls and a pair of twin boys in 27 months. As for my drinking, Laura tried all kinds of ways to make me quit, said a lot of prayers, yelled at me. Well, what she called yelling anyway. Way too soft to bother me. She hit my car keys. That didn't do no good. My favorite tavern was right down the street. Sometimes I stayed at home and drank with my parakeets. Well, most everybody who drinks needs a drinking buddy. I'd sit there at the kitchen table and take a pull on my highball. Then I'd call Tweety over from his cage. Tweety! That Tweety'd fly across the room like a jet airplane, landed right on the edge of my glass. Then he'd bob his head down and take a sip. Real long one. Damn Tweety didn't have to drain it. Here's another example of how bad off I was and didn't even know it. One night I come home from the bar so late, everybody gone to bed. Well, after you spend half the night drinking, you know how hungry you get. I go in the kitchen, look on the kitchen table, no food. Look in the ice box, no food. Then I look over on the stove and I see this big blue bowl of mashed potatoes. Well, I grab a spoon and I dig in and I eat up every bit of the mashed potatoes. Delish. Then I go to bed satisfied with a full belly. When I woke up the next day and walked into the kitchen, first thing my wife says is, "Hey, Gene, you know what happened to all my bacon grease? It was in that blue bowl." Now that's drunk. If you're wondering, I never laid a hand on my wife. Sometimes I acted like I did, like Jackie Gleason did on TV on The Honeymooners. "To the moon, Alice!" But I never hit her. It was all huff and puff. Still, I knew that all of my cussing and fussing had to be hurtful to her. More than once, she had all the kids lined up at the front door, every one of them holding a A&P grocery bag filled up with their clothes. Mom was going to take a cab to her mother's house and let me think about what my drinking was doing to our family. I always talked her into staying, but I did think about it between drinks. Anyway, here's how I wound up here, AA. My boss finally got tired of me showing up to work with a hangover. Tells me, "Smitty, you're the best damn timekeeper we ever had. You get a sponsor and join AA, or go find a job someplace else." That did it. I quit drinking, one day at a time, just like everybody else. That's my story. I'd like to thank my wife and AA for giving me one more chance. Car ride. Here I am, a car riding while my husband's doing the driving, and I sit here right beside him, looking out my window at these, what they call them? The suburbs. Oh, slow down, my heart. We're a long, long way from Wyandotte. Talk about some real fresh corn. I get to see it right there in the fields. 5 minutes of picking time, we can have our very own meal. We're going to be living in a land of plenty, with new houses and new people, and corn, and corn, and corn. But how's all this gonna feel without no sidewalks and hardly a store, without no street lights or a single plane's roar? Lord, what was me and Gene thinking? Yeah, he finally quit drinking, but still, $71.89 every month for 30 years. I'll be old when I leave that factory for good. Knock on wood, the knees keep acting like they should. Lord, we ain't never had a mortgage before, but my very own mother says that's God opening a door. And even though we'll still be poor, it won't be nothing like it was before. As long as I keep working, it'll be better for the kids. For the kids. For the kids. But 30 years? I'm 37 years old. Still young, but not that young. With a husband and 2 daughters and 2 sons, taking a big chance on these suburbs. So it was on, our family's big move to the suburbs. I felt the last weeks of school melting away, knowing there wasn't anything I could do good about it, and knowing I wasn't going to tell Diane until I had to. On the very last day of school, on the very last day I would ever see her. Hi, Diane. Hey, Donnie! Oh, last day of 7th grade, last joke of the year. Go ahead, hit me! I don't have a joke today. What's wrong? It's my parents. Are they okay? Yeah, they're okay. We're moving. You might be moving? No, we are moving next month out to the suburbs, you know, the sticks. So, you'll be going to a different school? Yeah, different school. Oh, wow. I kind of thought we'd be hanging out together next year, you know, big 8th graders together. Yeah, I hate it. Well, I'll miss you, Donnie. I gotta run. Maybe I'll see you around. I'll miss you too, Diane. In 1961, was it still called puppy love if it was shared by a black girl and a white boy? Whatever it was called, I had to deal with losing Diane that day. I suppose I could have aimed my resentment at my parents for moving, or blamed that all-white fortress called the suburbs for luring my parents out of the city, but I didn't. Not at first, anyway. Instead, less than an hour after school, let out for the year, and with the sting still in my chest, I took every bit of my anger straight to Jimmy's house. Donnie. Pack it up already, huh, Jimmy? Damn right. Moving days finally came. We're going to be the first ones to get off this damn block. You were wrong, Jimmy. What's wrong about what? The blacks? You don't know anything about black people, do you, Jimmy? Oh. So now you're calling them black people. Ain't you sounding mighty uppity? Seems to me like you used to call them Negroes too now, didn't you? Before you went to Parkland and got all cozy with them. You want them living next door to you now? You wise up, Donnie. I got an uncle who lives out near the track. Last year, this Negro who works stables out there, he rents a room from some guy right down the street from Uncle Hank. And before you know it, Uncle Hank starts missing stuff from his backyard. And then stuff missing from his front porch. And he tells me his daughter, my cousin, she's so scared she can't even go outside to get the mail from the way this Negro eyeballs her every chance he gets. Like he can't wait to jump her first chance he gets. Almost made that girl pee herself. And everybody knows that, pal. Don't you think we ain't noticed you neither, acting all friendly toward him? All it took for you to get royally screwed up was one lousy year at Parkland. Now you got the nerve to stand on our porch and tell me how wonderful the Negroes are all of a sudden. I believe what people told me, Jimmy, and it was all messed up. And it was all messed up. How do you know? Because I had a friend. Well. He proudly admits it. We know all about your colored girlfriend. She's not my girlfriend. She's nice. She's nice. Bet you ain't laid that news on your folks. Now have you stoop. Hey, Wyandotte Avenue. Parkland Junior High School says the niggers are just as good as us whites now. Just ask Donnie Smith. He knows all about them. Why don't you just stay here, preacher? Maybe sleep in the alley at night till school starts again. Then you can rub up to all the wonderful niggers you want. Just you wait. Pretty soon this whole part of Louisville is going to be known as Negrotown. Oh, sorry, Negrotown. +1. Seen the funny paper stoop. Jimmy! I used to wonder why you always acted so hateful toward him. I finally figured it out. You're scared. Shit, I'm scared. Well, you're the one who's moving, now ain't you? Your friend, then, Diane. She was my friend, my very first black friend, and that changed everything. For the record, as we all know, astronauts did make it into outer space, even went to the moon and back. But back here on Earth, my parents were having their own issues. Fair housing laws were beginning to be enacted and enforced. And finally, black families were being allowed to move across Wilson Avenues, all across America. Oh, got a factoid for you. Cassius Clay was the very first black person we ever saw in our neighborhood. It was 1960. He had just won the Olympic gold medal. He was standing in front of a Cadillac he bought for his mother right after he turned pro. They're at the brand new Algonquin Manor Shopping Center, standing there keeping an eye on it while his mother was inside shopping. Well, okay, full disclosure, I didn't see Cassius Clay, but my sister did. Right after that, she said, he was the biggest man I ever saw. And the prettiest. I guarantee you she didn't go home and tell Daddy that part. Anyway, back to the inequality thing. My parents joined a lot of other white parents, took the kids and headed for the suburbs, leaving the west end of Louisville, Kentucky, mostly black. White flight, they called it. If America could put a man on the moon, why couldn't we learn how to live on the same street with each other? So, I left Parkland Junior High School, which had given me cultural whiplash like you wouldn't believe, with half the students suddenly being black. And I moved on to Valley High School, where I got whiplashed again. I am a poor, wayfaring stranger, traveling through this school of woe, where there is hardly one black student, and I feel so all alone. I'm going on. Hey, anybody know where room 323 is? 323? Hey, goofball, you're on the second floor. 323 is on the third floor. 3, get it? Well, how was I supposed to know that? Hey, I'm Brenda. I'm Donnie. You look like you're new. I do? I mean to Valley, new to Valley. Yeah, I am new to Valley, first year here anyways. Where'd you go last year? Parkland? Whatland? Parkland Junior High? Where's that at? The West End? Oh. West End of what? Never mind. I gotta go, Lonnie. Locker! Oh, thanks. Hey, ain't you the new twin, or the other twin? Yeah, I guess I am the other twin. You guess? Yeah, I'm the other twin. Oh wow, your copy's in my civics class. My copy? Yeah, your copy, your twin. Man, this is so weird. There's two of you. Oh, I'm Rhonda. Oh, I'm Donnie. Your brother's pretty funny. I think he said his name was Lonnie. Yeah, Lonnie. Yeah, it's funny. Hey, you want to hear a joke? If it's quick, I got to get to class. Okay, I'm Groucho Marx. Last night I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How an elephant got in my pajamas, I'll never know. Why are you looking up like that? Huh? Why are you looking up in the air like that? Well, you see, that's what Groucho does when he finishes a joke. He does that thing with his chin. I don't get it. Why would an elephant be wearing pajamas? That don't make no sense. Well, see, he's not really. Diane liked it. Hey, Donnie, before Miss Collier gets here, which one do you think's the hottest? Well, I don't know, Miller. Godzilla or King Kong versus Godzilla? Oh, that. King Kong versus Godzilla, Miller, no contest. Nah, I vote for the original Godzilla. Where did you say you went to school last year? Parkland Junior High. Ain't that in the West End? Yeah. I got a cousin who went there a couple of years ago, Randy something or other. Said it was pretty rough down there. Had fights with the niggers all the time. His family finally moved. Got the hell out of Dodge. I hardly ever saw any fights. I thought it was a pretty cool place. Well, whatever you say. I never went to that part of town except to go to that big amusement park. Fountain Ferry? Yeah, that was it. Fountain Ferry Park. You know, they don't let blacks in. Huh? They don't let blacks in, it's whites only. I didn't know that. I bet all the black kids do. Hell, Donnie, don't get a hissy. Original Godzilla, best ever. So, there I was at Valley High School. For the record, I graduated in 1966, and Valley had one of the biggest graduating classes in the whole state of Kentucky that year, 448 seniors. And the number of blacks in our class was, hang on, let me do some calculating here. Kidding! Our class was 0 for 448. A lot of those kids were like me, I guess, came from white flight families, had parents who they thought were moving to the suburbs for a better life. I don't know. Anyway, after I graduated from high school, I went to college. And in 1968, I watched on TV as the riots were taking place in the West End of Louisville, Kentucky, after Martin Luther King was gunned down. The violence was taking place virtually in my old neighborhood. A lot of white people were upset because a lot of black people were upset. Couldn't understand what all of them Negroes were so mad about. Well, thanks to Parkland Junior High School and Algonquin Park and a lot of other places, I kind of had an idea what all of them Negroes were mad about. Anyway, on a positive note, I found out that not all miracles happen in the Bible. Take Daddy. He used to drink till he passed out, but then he joined Alcoholics Anonymous and quit the booze for good. Used to smoke 3 packs a day, not including the pack my mother sneaked out of the cigarette factory every day like all the other women did, hid down in her bra. Best of all, my father finally realized that stereotypes are fake, they're phony. Finally realized that people are just people if you take them one at a time. Like I said, miracles. Hi, Dad. I'm glad you called. I've got this leak in the kitchen. Yeah, she's here. See, when I turn on the water, You do? You do? Honey? It's Dad. Say he wants to talk to you. There it was, the biggest miracle of all. My daddy doing what he called his happy assing on the telephone with my African American wife. Daddy's arrival at salvation only took 70 years, or the very next year after my mother died. I don't know. Maybe with Mama suddenly being gone, Daddy realized that his world was a lot smaller and a lot colder. Just like me, Daddy never looked at Wilson Avenue and the land of no return the same way again. The West End is more than a place. It's a face, it's a heart, and it's a disgrace to keep it in the past because it's still with us today, no matter how far away we drive our cars to erase the scars. I've been to the mountaintop, and it was called the West End, or at least it was on the front end of my life. Mountaintops are everywhere, but to this very day, I swear, I can't shove it away, that dream place of mine back in the day. It's a reminder that ignorance and hate, regardless of race, or a subdivision with a gate, or how much money you make, or what your zip code can fake, can exist anywhere. The past really hasn't gone by if we don't try to see it. And the present stays a lie if we don't try to heal it. To the West End, peace. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me quick.
Don, what was your dad like? You sort of went into it, but after he quit drinking and smoking and having all the problems, how did your all's relationship? What was it like after that?
First of all, the brass knuckles were real. And I think that's how he got, it was his brass knuckles. He grew up in the West End, and I think that's how he got his attitude. It was us against them. And that's the attitude he had for a long time. I went home one day and told him I was going to marry this black woman named Virginia. And he literally walked me to the front door and said, "Have a nice life." And then I didn't talk to him, he didn't talk to me for 2 years. But as the story says, after Mama died, my mother never got to meet Virginia, but after Mama died, Daddy had one of my sisters really worked on him, and a couple of his other friends really talked to him a lot, and Daddy finally decided, are you going to let that stand in the way of a relationship with your son? And he called me one day and said, "Let's go to lunch." But he was a wonderful, wonderful storyteller and a wonderful human being, other than that one thing which he was trained to be like in the 30s, right? That's the way it was. He grew up in the Portland area of Louisville. And it took him most of his lifetime to get beyond that, but he did. He'd call me on the phone, "Put Virginia on the line." And then I'd, "See ya." They just yak and yak and yak. But Mary.
I was wondering also about whether Alcoholics Anonymous was integrated and whether that might have had an influence on him.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
I would have noticed, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, did you say integrated?
Was it integrated? It was Alcoholics
mean?
Anonymous.
There were
Black and white groups.
there were no black former alcoholics in that group, I guarantee you.
Did that have an impact on it? Did AA help him?
He never had another drink the rest of his life.
But he kept going to AA?
He was actually turned out to be, like I said, he was a really good storyteller. He actually turned out to be one of the leaders of the group for 2 or 3 years. And he finally drifted away from it as we moved to the suburbs and got away from that kind of reality of a city, which I still am bitter about. I was that close to jumping on a city bus and going anywhere I wanted to go. But as I said, in the suburbs, in those days, there was no sidewalk, there were no street lights, there were no stores. They had a Sears outlets, a catalog store. That was the big store within 5 miles. And I hated it. And I had my heart set on riding the city bus to high school. And it didn't happen. I got on one of these yellow buses that every suburb has now, and that's the way I went to Valley. But some things you don't forget. Ma'am, Jeannie.
On a lighter note, did you you know that your face and name are on all the stalls in the women's bathroom? Is that a first?
Was it the door going in or coming out?
No, coming out of
Oh,
every
okay.
stall. 'Cause
Well, that's a relief, I guess. I don't know. Wow.
Hey,
Wasn't
Don.
that the dream of every high school boy to, have girls call them if they put their name on the stalls?
Boy, you're going back. Maybe.
Which house did the turkey story take place in?
In the West End, on Wyandotte Avenue.
Yeah.
My dad had some really weird ideas. He brought home a turkey one day for Thanksgiving. That's a big story.
A live turkey.
Jerry even had a print, a live turkey. He said, we're going to have the freshest, most delicious turkey in the whole damn city of Louisville. And I don't know if he lost a bet or what, but he came home with a cardboard box that's shaken violently. It's a live turkey. And his plan was, we're going to put it in the basement and plump it up for the next 2 weeks and then send it on to the butcher and we'll have the best, most delicious turkey dinner in the whole damn city of Louisville. So yeah, the turkey thing was right, and that was on that street. Now, he came home one time and told my mother somebody offered him a monkey. Now, Mama did put her foot down on the monkey.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's, everybody has childhood memories, and you don't sit down and take notes. I'm gonna talk about this in the next 25 years. You just hang on to the memories. And luckily for me, I had two sisters and a brother who helped reinforce all these childhood memories, right? What is it? Aren't you busy writing a book?
No, I'm taking a note.
Reggie Van Stockham writes a book about every 2.5 hours.
So what was the address of the house on Wyandotte?
Two of them, 2902 and 2908. We moved, my sister told me we moved from one to the other because the other had this luxury basement.
And that's Wyandotte, 29?
Wyandotte Avenue, it's right off Cypress. And I went back, like I say, I go back and check them out every now and then. And I went back, and one of those houses had nothing but a vacant lot. So I suppose it got burned down. But I go back anyway, and I got from Park. And Parkland Junior High School, if you don't know it, is Lyman T. Johnson Traditional High School, junior high now. Traditional middle school. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, and your siblings, are they still alive?
I lost one sister 7 or 8 years ago. I lost the oldest sister, who would have been Rachel, last year. These are fictitious names for my siblings. And my brother, as we speak, he's not here because he's in Pakistan. Because he's married to a Pakistani lady. And she was the chair of the special ed department at EKU forever and ever. But she goes over there and teaches their government how to teach special ed to their people. And she goes back every 6 months because they keep forgetting. Right?
Well, that's how special ed works.
Not too special. But I thank you all so much because, the more people I can get this to, the better I feel, because it is a bridge, as far as I'm concerned, to understanding. And like I say, when I promote this thing, I'm not pointing fingers, I'm not trying to make you feel bad, not being confrontational at all. I'm turning this on me. And because of that, people hopefully can carry some messages away. But it was a pleasure doing this for you.